Hey, everybody. I am so excited for today. I have been looking forward to this moment since I met Karen in Hawaii a few weeks ago. With Sage, Hawaii Retreat, Leverage, you guys know all about it. I've been talking about it for weeks on social media and how it really impacted my life. Well, I instantly became buddies with Karen. I'm going to show you a picture in a few minutes of the two of us on Hawaii. And we had so much fun together. And she was talking to me one day about different programs that she has. And one of them is the Great Cubicle Escape. How many of us are stuck in our cubicles looking up to the universe like there has to be more to life than this? And let me tell you, there is. I've escaped. Karen's probably escaped. Her husband has escaped. So she's going to talk to us a little bit today about the Great Cubicle Escape Program, what that means, how to get the heck out of your corporate day job if that's what you want, and then how to become an inspired entrepreneur and just really, really find some joy and excitement out of your life. So Karen, take it away, sister. Tell us what's going on with you.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me, Jen. This is so much fun. I love the instant connection that we had in Hawaii. It was fabulous to spend that time with you. I am really also very pleased that you've asked me to speak about my favorite topic ever. So the last job I had before I became an entrepreneur, I spent 13 years in government. And I had always worked operations. So I never really had a cubicle until I got into government. And it was the most bizarre thing. Like even learning how to work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, I don't know how people do it.
Right.
It took me 2 years to not be exhausted working 5 days in a row because I always work shift work. so it was the strangest thing. And what you can do and what you can't do. And you'd have these great ideas and nobody wanted to listen. And I watched what was happening. People get into their cubicles and they start to grow. You know, we get new jobs and we grow and we start looking at more. And we started, all of a sudden, you see these different people start thinking differently about their world. Where they want something for themselves. They want to be the one that had the good idea. It needs to be okay for me to get credit. I don't want to just be one of the crowd or the zombies, you know, coming back and forth all the time, right? And sometimes people look for a promotion to do that. If I can get the promotion, I'll be the manager, I'll be the director. And then you get there and realize that you actually have less power and less control than you did before. Because now there's a different level of politics. Now there's a different level, there's no power dynamic that's different. And if you want to go in and change things, there are these people, love them to death, my goodness, but they're threatened by the fact that you might want to change something.
Yeah.
So what was happening for me, I was getting really tired of juggling other people's egos. Like, how is this my problem? Right? Got to be something more. There's got to be a place where I can go and I can lead, where I can share what I know and where what I know matters. And I I tripped over it, NLP, and I didn't know anything about it before that. And neurolinguistic programming is really about the study of excellence and how to reproduce it. How do you really get to know how your mind and your body works? How is it that you do the same things over and over again, even if you said you weren't going to?
Which we're all guilty of, right?
No, right? It can be frustrating. And as I started to go through the professional programs and got my designations as a coach and started coaching others, I went, wow, I now have a front row seat at transformation to watch people grow and watch how that ripple effect goes out and affects the people around them. And so Jeff and I decided, because we took the trainings together, that was it. We were going to be done. And so our cubicle escape was not elegant.
Okay, you better explain this. How was it not elegant?
So you can be really good at a thing, does not make you good at running a business offering said thing. So we were fabulous coaches, and Jeff does a lot of the work in the tech area. He's a software developer, so he coaches a lot of people with their tech. And I was doing transformational work, but we didn't know how to be entrepreneurs. So we ended up putting ourselves into a lot of debt before we figured it out.
Okay.
So we learned the hard way. We finally submitted to proper mentorship, got the right mentors teaching us how to do business. And over a series of about 3 to 4 years, we really figured it out, right? How do you actually transition from your cubicle into a business without running the risks that we did?
Mm.
So we put the program together, the Great Cubicle Escape, to let people know that there was a way to do it and still pay your mortgage and put your kids through university and actually come out and still maintain the lifestyle that you've become accustomed to, or heck, even raise it.
I wish I would have known you 34 years ago. When I left Walmart in 2012, I went to become a supplier. So I was a supplier to Walmart. And then after that job, decided I don't want to just sell granola and cereal anymore. I want to go sell everything. And then I started my own brokerage firm, and I made so many mistakes along the way. I had years that I could barely afford to pay the mortgage and buy groceries. And I'm sure that there was a better way to do the way that I did being an entrepreneur. And I love that you've got some programs in place that people can walk through and kind of have some hand holding and go, well, maybe I don't need to quit my day job just quite yet. Maybe I can do this on the side and then do this. I love your 3 to 4 year time frame, Karen, because that's how long it took me to actually be able to fully walk out of that last corporate job. And I talked about that a little bit on LinkedIn. On my time hop on Facebook, my picture came up with me and my cute little 8-year-old. And I had just been fired from my last corporate job and had a field trip to go attend with him. And I had to go put mommy's happy face on and pretend like nothing was wrong, even though I'd just gotten axed from this huge, really well-paying job. And I would have loved to have somebody help kind of walk me along the way rather than just baptism by fire and 3 to 4 years and finally making enough to walk away completely.
Yeah, it's part of my job description to grab suspenders.
Nice.
Because people get excited and they want to jump off Niagara Falls, and we don't recommend it with or without a barrel. I just let's not do that.
Smart.
So I was a project manager, designated as such. So I really get how to put plans together. And so one of the things that we do is work with our graduates to make sure that they have a plan in place, that they know what they need financially, they know what skills they need, they figured out what kind of life they want to build. Mm-hmm. And sometimes some of them change jobs so that they have a lot more flexibility.
Oh, that's good.
There's one person that's currently in one of my higher level mentorship programs. She's building her business and she's already taking Mondays and Wednesday afternoons off.
Nice.
So she changed
baby steps, right?
Right. She's changed her role at her work. Some people do job sharing. Right. And they just find a way to do that to the point where it's costing them too much money to go to their job. Right. And that's when they know to pull the plug. They know that they've got money set aside. They know that they've got a plan. They've been able to prove to themselves and their family that what they're doing is sustainable.
And that's so important, because I know a lot of times with husbands and wives, one's ready to leap and the other one's like, but I'm scared. They need that financial stability, and they need the roadmap that you can provide to help them feel secure that they're still going to have a roof over their head and they're still going to have food on the table and still maybe get to go on vacation in the summer, right?
And it's entirely legitimate. In my opinion, there's no reason for entrepreneurs to be worked to the bone, exhausted, and broke. That's a choice in my world. If you have the right mentorship and you have the skills that you need and you continue to do your own personal development along the way, there's no reason to not move into it the same way you would into a promotion. Where you have to learn some new skill sets, and you know that you're going to want somebody that you can always ask questions to. You can feel the same way.
I love that. I know you and your husband are both doing coaching. Do you have maybe a couple stories that you want to tell about some of your prized best clients of how they did leave their day job, do that cubicle escape, and maybe what are they doing now? How are they thriving?
Oh, absolutely. So one particular person is in the world of elite mindset. So she spent time actually competing for Canada, right? She's been to World Cups. She's absolutely very focused and determined. But somewhere along the line, she was talked into the fact that she had to do things the way everybody else did them. right? She's a bit of a black sheep, and she always has the most success in her life when she's really going where her heart is taking her.
Mm-hmm.
And when she started taking the programs, she really started to see how that was possible again.
Mm-hmm.
And so she came through the programs and now is currently stepping on stage in South Africa in February. So
Wow.
yeah, we've actually moved her through my programs, and now she's joined another mentor to put her on the international speaking stage.
That's amazing.
Right? So now that she has the basics to own the stage and own the room, now she's actually going to outshine every other single person in that program.
Wow.
And now she's in new circles and doing new things, and she's actually one of the mentors in my program.
Oh,
So now
cool.
she's coming in and working with me, and she's also become a dear friend. So that's the kind of thing. I feel a little selfish about how I've set all this up, because the more people grow and the more they go through the programs, the more I want to be friends with them.
Oh, I love that. You're kind of like molding your friends. Like I always tell my husband, like, don't die because I don't want to have to train another one. You kind of like trained and created your own friends, your friend circle. That's awesome.
Exactly. So it's, yeah, I mean, that's fabulous. Then we have other people who come through and they think they want to be an entrepreneur. And often what they get a chance to see is, what does that really mean and what's that like?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a big a gift to help someone understand that entrepreneurship actually isn't for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do we set them up in a very different way? Right? That maybe they don't want to work full time in the job. They don't like that so much, but how do we set them maybe up in the community where they're consulting, where they're doing other types of work that they love to do,
Mm-hmm.
and still have a schedule that they
Mm-hmm.
love, or they're taking on coaching clients from other people who have an overflow.
Mm-hmm.
And so we start working that way. I really want people to love what they're doing.
Yeah, I love and that you can. You don't have to be that mindless robot sitting in the cubicle any longer. I mean, I don't know about your experience and what you found through your clients, Karen, but for me personally, when I finally left that cubicle and made the escape that I did, I tripled, quadrupled. I don't even know if there's words and terminology for how much money I now make. I mean, there is no way I could make what I'm making right now in corporate. And I love that you get to really be mindful and choose the life that you want to live. I mean, I'm a CEO. I've got people that work for me. We have a physical building. We're not all there all day long, just whenever we need to meet. And I get to go pick my kids up in Carline. Like, how cool is that? And I like it. So I plan my whole day around that 3:00 pickup, and I might conference call up to 2:59. But as soon as they start Carline, I'm like, okay, I gotta go. And then I put my little mommy hat on for a few hours, and I get to go have dinner with them and talk about homework and whatever happened on the playground. And then I get to, if I need to, and I have to hop back into business, I put them off to bed at 8:00 and put my little corporate hat back on. And I just love the flexibility of that, or being able to go take a walk. It's a gorgeous day today. And I can stop mid work and go, I'm going to go walk around the block, get a little exercise in. And you just can't do that when you work for somebody else.
No, you just do not have that kind of flexibility, or they feel like if they give it to you, then you owe them something else in return for that, right? Like there's a cost to it. And you're absolutely right. And I think one of the reasons that so many women are flocking to this type of entrepreneurship is because it really does give them the power. When you think about the flexibility you're just talking about, that's what true femininity is. Mm-hmm. It's to be in the flow of it, mm-hmm. right? To be able to move from one thing to the other. And regardless of what we think about it, the corporate America that we think about was absolutely created in the masculine. Mm-hmm. And so one of the reasons I think so many women aren't as suited for it as they like is because it takes too much of our masculine to do it.
That is so wise.
When you step in as an entrepreneur, you're a CEO, and technically you're creating corporate where you are. But the thing is, you're doing it from the strength and power of your feminine, mm-hmm. which by its very definition means you have flexibility. Mm-hmm. Right? And you're having more success here than you would in a more structured environment.
Oh, I'm absolutely not meant to go work out in corporate. Like I was joking with somebody just the other day, and I'm like, I think I've been fired 3 or 4 times just in the last 10 10 years.
Right.
Because I'm not cut out to go work for somebody that says you must be here at 8 a.m. and you must take a 1 hour break and it better not be 61 minutes. And then you must be out of here by 5 o'clock and you must get all your work done and make sure that there's not anything left. And no, you can't go to your kids, whatever,
Right.
I mean, it's so incredibly ridiculous the way that we think that that is how you should do business. So you know what I found interesting, Karen? I don't know if now you're watching your clients get on the other side where they're out of the corporate world, they've created their own businesses. Now I'm looking back at retrospect of what I've created with my own company and the 6 other people that work for me, and trying to really lead from the feminine and saying, like, you don't have to be in the office all day long. Like, go work from home. And if we have a meeting once or twice a week and you want to be there, then great. And just make sure that your work's done. And then it's really funny because I'm finding people want to go hang out at the office. Like, they like to see other people. They want to go like gather around the cooler and have some hot tea together. And just finding that balance has been interesting,
You've given them choice to find what works for them.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're results focused.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the same. My team's entirely virtual. We get together as an entire group probably once a month. And I have one person that comes in on Thursdays because, well, somebody's got to do the filing and it's not going to be me. So,
yeah.
But other than that, we connect in other ways, and that connection is important to them, and they make sure that it happens. And I calibrate everything based on whether or not the work's getting done. Right? It's all I care about. I don't care if you want to work at midnight. It's not for me to say how you weave this work into your world, as long as it's done.
I had my first request this week for what do holiday hours look like? And he had just come out of a corporate job. So he's like, what do we do for Christmas? And how do I take a few days off? And what are your expectations? And I'm like, I don't know. Just make sure the work keeps getting done and you can take some time off. I don't care. I'm like, we're all going to be traipsing around the country doing things that we need to do to be with our families for Christmas. But our clients will still be, taken care of. And if we need to go pop into our email and answer something, we can. And it's so interesting to watch people kind of trying to navigate this new world of freedom and choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be difficult to navigate if you've never had it before.
Yeah. I bet. Okay. So you own Choose Results. You are Canadian. So this is a Canadian website, chooseresults.ca. Karen, how can people get a hold of you? What programs do you offer for the Great Cubicle Escape? And then I know that you also have a freebie that people can download. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, we can start there for sure. Going to the website right on the first page is an opportunity in exchange for, name and an email address to download what we call dialing down the drama with boundaries.
Yes.
Because I will tell you, if you have drama anywhere in your world, then there's probably a boundary that needs to be put in or maintained. And there's actually a process. And what we found that women are almost never taught the process, that men are taught at work and then they don't bring it home. So this document takes you all the way through the actual process of how, when there's a request for your time, money, and energy, what's the internal questions you need to ask yourself before you say yes or no. And we're actually going to give permission to people to say no just because you don't want to.
That's pretty powerful.
That with the holidays coming up. So we find that boundaries are super important in families. They're important at work. As an entrepreneur, they're super important to set both. I have to set boundaries with myself because I just want to work and work and work. Mm-hmm. And because I love what I do.
I know.
So create balance in my world. So I set that up, make sure the health is taken care of. Jeff and I work together. Huge boundaries on what conversations happen where. This is an office conversation, so it doesn't happen in the bedroom.
Right? That's a podcast in itself. I would love to hear how you guys have figured that out, because my husband started helping me with things with our business. And last night we went out to dinner and I'm like, we need to talk a little bit about work. I haven't seen you all day. Do you want to talk on the way to the restaurant or while we're eating food? And I'm sure there's a better way to navigate that, but we haven't figured it out yet. So that may be a fun conversation to have later.
Yeah, we've 7 years now we've been working together.
Wow. And you're still married.
So happy to do that. that. And the other thing on the site is an opportunity to see our programs. The jewel of our entire business, as far as I'm concerned, is the Stage and Story program. The Stage and Story program is for anyone that needs to own the room, own the stage, and be able to tell their story or any story in a way that truly connects deeply with their listeners.
That's good.
Yeah. And then out of that, there's also the NLP program. So if people are looking to coach, or if they just really want to rock their corporate world as leaders or get promoted, is fabulous. So my big suggestion always to people is that they go to the contact page and connect with us, because we'll book some time to chat with you and figure out what are your actual needs. What do you actually want to create? What's currently standing in your way? And then we can make a recommendation. And if it's not us, we know some other fabulous people. But if it is us in our program, then we'll tell you how to best connect in with that. And then we have all kinds of other types of workshops and programs for entrepreneurs. So they build the entrepreneurial skill sets. Like, there's a lot. So it's best just to connect in and get something personalized.
That's good. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it. I'm pumped and excited and can't wait to see some people escape from that cubicle and then rush over to you to maybe get some advice before you leave. So don't leave yet.
Okay.
Contact Karen. Get that guidebook. She's going to project manage you all out of how you're going to leave that job, have a little money in the bank, make sure that you don't have to swap income for, no income for the next few years.
Yeah.
Don't make the mistakes that I did and she did. And I love that you've got your little guidebook there to help people make that transition. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate you. And we will talk to you later. Bye, Karen.
Bye-bye.